Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today for a special admission spotlight on the Master of Professional Accountancy program at the University of California, Riverside School of Business, home of the A. Gary Anderson Graduate School of Management. And today I am here with one of our faculty members, Dr. Desai, Assistant Professor of Teaching in Accounting and the Accounting Academic Director. I'm also joined by two of our MPAc students, Raj and Gundeep, and together they'll be sharing some insights on curriculum and the MPAc experience. Before we dive into our panel session, let's do a quick overview of the Master of Professional Accountancy program. This program trains accounting professionals to build a career as a certified public accountant, or CPA. Additionally, it could prepare students to be a CMA, Certified Management Accountant, or a CIA, Certified Internal Auditor. We take students from all undergraduate backgrounds. If you do have some undergraduate courses already in accounting, you would be put on what we call track 1, where you can complete your degree faster within 9 months. If you don't have a background in accounting, no worries, we would put you on track 2, and that'll take about 15 months for you to complete. This program is STEM designated, which for international students means that you can stay in the US to work for up to 3 years after graduation. For all students, this STEM designation signals to employers that you have scientific, technical, quantitative skills that are supported through your master's degree. I would love to start by asking each of you to introduce yourself to the audience.
I would say that I started my career as an auditor, worked as an auditor for about 5 years. Then I came to the US. I got a master's in accounting, a PhD in accounting. I worked in the US at the University of Central Florida for a few years. Then I went back to India for about 8 years, where I joined one of the top MBA granting institutes, which is the Indian Institute of Management at Ahmedabad, which is also my hometown, where I have done a lot of consulting work, a lot of teaching in varied programs and so on. And then to 2020, I decided, the US seems to be a better option. And so I've been with UCR since 2020. So that's a little bit about me. And as I said, while I am an accountant out and out, I think my education as an accountant, both my PhD, my master's, and also my professional certification, it has allowed me to work in several capacities in different industries and different contexts. So that bears testament to the fact about what the master's program and eventually a CPA is going to provide you as a student. Okay.
So hey everybody, I'm Raj Singh. So I did my undergrad at UC Riverside. And my undergrad was in business admin, obviously with a concentration in accounting. During my undergrad, I actually did a 1-year paid internship at the San Bernardino Auditor Controller's Office, which I actually got that internship through the Handshake website through UCR. So that's a helpful tip. So, if you ever want to look for an internship, that's a really good website to go to. I gained a lot of accounting experience, mostly managerial and the governmental accounting experience over there. I kind of came to the conclusion eventually that I didn't want my career to just end at the government. I kind of wanted to go out and branch out into PA a little bit. So I went into public accounting. Over the summer, I actually did an internship with BDO. That was as an IS assurance intern, and after the internship was done, they actually made me an offer as a tax associate. So after the MPAc program is done, I will be starting over there as a tax associate working for BDO. And it's all thanks to UCR, actually. So
everyone, so my name is Gundeep, of course, and I started my MPAc journey last year in fall, and I'm set to graduate this quarter. This is my last quarter at UCR. For this, I do have almost 5 years of professional work experience back in India and as well as here in the US. Recently, I just completed my summer internship at Grant Thornton, and now I have a full-time offer from EY starting in January of 2023 at the Irvine office. I've done my undergrad back from India in business administration, just a general plain business. So I did take a little bit of prerequisites when I came to UCR. And why I chose UCR, it's one of the most diverse university I've ever seen. And there are a lot of students and great learning here at UCR. And also the program, of course, Professor Desai mentioned, gets you CPA ready.
Wonderful. You all have such fantastic jobs lined up. That's amazing. I'm curious, why did you decide to pursue a career in the field of accounting to begin with?
I studied my undergrad back in India in business administration. I did not had any accounting background as such. I did learn little bit of financial accounting, cost accounting. One of the most, I would say, the funniest reason or the valid reason of why accounting is, as soon as I finished my job, I got into a Big Four, where I was not into an auditing and I was doing side works for the auditor. That really motivated me. I was like, I want to be in that field. I want to be in the other side of the table. So that really motivated me to be an accountant and to learn masters and to do my CPAs. So I guess for me it was more of to be in that side of the table. That's why I really wanted to be in the accounting field.
So I actually started off when I was at the community college as an engineering major, and my father's an engineering is an engineer, he's an aerospace engineer, and I just never wanted to kind of pursue that path. There was just nothing I really enjoyed about it. I'm good at calculus, but I just don't like doing it for fun, so it was just kind of something that was always forced on me. But when I found accounting, I wanted to do something where I could I guess have a license at the end of the day, and that's what the CPA license is. I wanted to get my CPA license. I wanted to be able to just tag that CPA, kind of those 3 letters at the end of my name eventually one day. And then I also wanted to pursue a career later on in life in politics. And I always felt like knowing tax and having a solid understanding about how the tax structure works in America and how businesses actually work, that's actually why I chose accounting.
So it's I thought this is the one area which allowed me to explore a lot of businesses and allowed me to build a large repertoire of knowledge about different businesses, different business models, which eventually I've been able to apply in my consulting career, in my teaching career, and so on. And I don't feel any other business line gives you this opportunity where, today I'm looking at a retail firm, tomorrow I'm looking at a manufacturing firm, the next day I'm looking at an infrastructure firm, right? So there are these different models, and, as an auditor, you get to go and take a peek into all these models, gain an understanding of how the business works, how the models work. So that type of knowledge, I don't think any other business field provides you with that. And so that was my pull towards accounting. I might not have had this desire to work as a CA or a CPA or a public accountant for my career. In fact, that was pre-decided. Even after I became a chartered accountant and I worked as an auditor for 5-6 years, it was pre-decided that eventually all this knowledge is going to be applied to become a consultant or join an advisory firm and things like that. And that's what I did. Of course, I added a PhD before I started getting into those things. But yes, the knowledge that I gained in the field was very unique. And as I said, no other business or no other education line is going to give you this type of an opportunity.
Dr. Desai, in your opinion, what makes UCR's MPAc program stand out?
First thing I would like to highlight is that the MPAc is open for all students from different lines. So if you look at a typical MPAc in other universities, typically it's only open for accounting majors, and we don't, if a non-accounting major is going to go through the MPAc program, you have to go through a lot of hoops, and most places will not accept you. But with us, we have two tracks, right? So the first track is for people with accounting education and background, and the second is for people who are coming from general business or non-accounting background. Now, what this does is that when it comes to the class discussions, when it comes to class, the makeup of the class, it introduces a diversity both in thought and background, and which enriches the overall experience of the students. And so it's like, different people are sort of coming at a particular problem from different angles. So while we do focus on the theoretical aspects and, preparing for the CPA exam and all that, because we have a rich and diverse student body, the overall experience and the perspective that the students get from our classes tends to be a little bit better than classes where, you have everyone from the accounting background.
And many students who are going into the field of accounting will pursue the CPA exam. I'm curious, how does UCR's MPAc program prepare students to successfully sit for the CPA exam?
Right. So, when it comes to the MPAc program, we fulfill two requirements. One is the requirements of the number of credit hours, right? So once you go through the MPAc, in most cases, you will meet the requirements for the minimum accounting hours and so on. The second requirement that we are going to fulfill, and which is more important, is the knowledge requirement. So, our courses are geared towards preparing the students for the CPA exam. And so once you have gone through the MPAc program, you will have a pretty decent idea of the questions on the CPA exam, how the exam is designed, the topics, and so on. And you would also fulfill all the credit hour requirements that is necessary to appear for the CPA exam. And I have tried to introduce a lot of practical applications and practical perspectives in the program. So, yes, you need to know how the financial statements work. You need to know how to calculate or prepare the income statement, or prepare the balance sheet or the cash flow statement of the company. But it is also important to understand and know eventually how these aspects of accounting will help the business achieve its objectives, right? And the business has several components. So what is the place of accounting information in the context of the business as a whole? I have tried to, introduce a lot of those types of elements in all our curriculum. So not just the students are being prepared, not just to succeed as a CPA, but I have seen in my professional career that a lot of CPAs eventually take up managerial positions in several companies. They also go on to work as consultants for some of the big fours, or as independent consultants and so on for other companies, right? So not just understanding the nuts and bolts and the theory is important, but it is also important to understand how accounting adds value to the organization. And over the past 2-3 years, I'm adding significant emphasis on these aspects in our MPAc curriculum.
Yeah, so the curriculum at UCR is actually really closely aligned with a lot of public accounting firms. Go to an accounting firm, obviously you kind of get experience in many different areas, whether or not it's audit or tax, highest assurance, you kind of get an opportunity to explore, anywhere that you want to go. As far as the CPA exam also goes, it's really closely aligned with that, I think, because it gives you it gives you a very good understanding, and you become an expert in subject matter. And it gives you the tools to actually prep you for the CPA exam later on. And compared to like other schools or something, say if it's Cal State Fullerton, UC Irvine, maybe they might have a specialty in certain areas. Say if it's tax only or only an audit or wherever it is, it's only going to give you a very narrow scope. but the MPAc program actually encapsulates everything. So you get a better understanding of everything, and you be just all around, you just become a better accountant in general.
The MPAc program, like Raj mentioned, it's very robust and it has good learning experience. So like I'm studying for the CPA exam, I'm also taking help of Becker. That's helps you prepare for the CPA exam even more if you want to take some set schedules or modules for Becker. So when I go through the Becker program, it really aligns of what I've studied in the MPAc curriculum. And it's all the topics or the concepts seem to be very, familiar. It's just that we're learning a little bit of the higher set of the CPA exam when the questions come better. But yeah, it's a very good program designed just for the CPA. And overall, yes, accounting and auditing, when I did get a chance to do my summer internship at Grant Thornton, I was being an auditor and going through all the concepts which I had studied in my first quarter at UC Riverside. So yeah.
Wonderful. Dr. Desai, can you explain what other career opportunities that the MPAc program might open up for graduates?
I would love to do that. See, what people don't realize is that when you become an auditor, you are sort of getting you're opening a window into understanding businesses, okay? Because to become a good auditor, you need to understand how a company works, how the accounting system in the company works, which gives you really, relevant information about various business models, different companies, and so on. So, don't think of auditing as a mechanical exercise where I'm going and verifying the financial statements or verifying the accuracy of the information presented in the financial statements. No, it gives you a very unique opportunity to understand a business model and understand a company. Now, when you work as an auditor, you're not just going to work on the audit of a single company. You're going to work on the audits of several companies, right? And over a period of time, you're going to accumulate a lot of knowledge and understanding about various different models, how different companies work, and so on. And once you are able to get that knowledge and and understand how, as I kept saying in the past, how this accounting function adds value to the company, you are sort of preparing yourself to take up consulting roles, managerial roles within organizations, and so on. But if you sort of go through the track records of people working in consulting firms like BCG or Bain or even the Big Fours, most of them would start as CPAs, most of them would start as auditors, majority of them. And eventually, after gaining experience over a few years, they will then branch out into these other managerial roles. Yeah.
And what might a typical MPAc course look like?
Typically, the way I structure my class is that the first or certain sessions are dedicated towards understanding the theoretical aspects of various topics, and certain sessions or parts of the sessions are dedicated towards understanding the application of those theoretical aspects in an organizational or business setting. And so that is how most of my classes are designed. So there's a focus on understanding the mechanics and nuts and bolts, and then we need to get an idea of how these mechanics work in a company.
Dr. Desai, can you give some insights on how technology is being used to push the field of accounting forward and how those types of things might be integrated into the MPAc curriculum?
What technology has done is that it has introduced new means of accomplishing tasks, at least in the accounting and finance context. But, you still need an individual to understand, what the company did, how revenues were recognized, how expenses were recorded, and did the company do it correctly or not. There is no technology that is going to allow me to do that, especially in the field of accounting where there is a lot of discretion given to management to make decisions. And the management does use that discretion on from time to time to either inflate earnings or play with the numbers and so on. So yes, technology might allow me to complete certain tasks in a faster manner or evaluate information more quickly. But at the end, I still need to have that fundamental knowledge and understand how the business works, how the financial reporting process works, to allow me to verify whether the company is doing what it is supposed to do. So, we talk about big data, right? So big data is what? It gives me a lot of data points to come up with, estimations of what is happening, right? Okay. But, I might, in the past, I might be making my decisions based on 10 data points, but now I might be doing the same based on 10,000 data points, right? That's fine. Yes, the information or the decision that I make based on 10 data points is going to be a little less accurate compared to the decision that I make based on 10,000 data points. I completely agree. But you still need to evaluate that information and make that decision. And for that, you need the fundamental foundations that the MPAc program provides, right? So there is no way you can take out the need for this specialized field of knowledge to be able to run the company properly or be a good auditor and so on. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Desai. And to our current students who were sitting in the shoes of students listening today last year, what advice would you share with our prospective students as they're thinking about pursuing an MPAc degree at UCR?
So, yeah, about a year ago, I was sitting in the same situation. I was just fresh out of college. I graduated this year back in March, but I remember actually thinking after graduation, I was like, is there a place in the job market for me? I only have a bachelor's degree, where am I going to go after my bachelor's? And after I got the internship at BDO, I remember them telling me, well, if you get your master's degree, it's going to give you that competitive edge against everybody, that dime a dozen that has a bachelor's degree in business. There's a few tips that I could give. It's getting the master's degree is very important, especially if you want to become a CPA later on in life, and if you just want to have the credibility and the reputation as being a good accountant. So you want to get that master's degree. 2 is you want to make sure that you're looking at what degree is best aligned with your career goals. Do you want to pursue a master's degree that will, I guess, for lack of better words, kind of pigeonhole you into one area of accounting, or do you want to get a broader experience, and do you want to understand everything versus just only, say, tax or auditing? And then the third one is, I would say, follow the money. UCR, I think, gives the most money, out to their students. In fact, that was one of the biggest reasons I actually ended up coming here. I got into a few schools. I got into UC Irvine and Cal Poly Pomona, but at the end of the day, UC Riverside was giving me the most money, and it was I'm gonna have less student debt at the end of it all. So as an accountant, we want to manage our liabilities, so so that's the advice I could give.
I attended one of the first info session back in 2020 in the middle of COVID crisis, and I did not know what exactly to do. And Tamra, one of our associates admissions, she helped us through the application process. It was really simple. She explained every bits and pieces of how the MPAc program would look like, how a schedule of an MPAc student would look like. So it was really easy. And one tip I would like to give to all the prospective students who are attending the session today is just keep exploring, just keep talking to people, keep getting the knowledge you want to be admitted to the MPAc program. It's really beneficial for those who want to make a career in accounting field. And I think it's for everybody. That's what the main motto of this program is. If you want to make a little bit of career in the accounting, there's the right program for you.
And Dr. Desai, how about you? Any admissions advice for prospective candidates?
I would say two things. Get a good recommendation letter. That really helps help pave the way. And try to highlight whatever work experience you have. Write a good CV. Make sure that the CV is competitive, and whatever you have is presented well. Okay. And when it comes to picking a program, like Raj mentioned, when traditionally we are supposed to be an auditing program, and eventually we are going to start offering, we do offer enough tax courses, but we are going to start offering a little bit more on that side also. But when it comes to passing the CPA exam includes everything. So again, being too narrow would not help that much. Going to a program like ours where we focus on all the topics would prepare you better for the CPA exam. So that is for sure. So yes, do consider all of these things. And of course, we are very well located. So location does matter. Yeah.
Wonderful. So thank you, Dr. Desai, Raj, Gundeep, for all of the insights that you have shared today. As we wrap up our session today, I want to go over a few of our application action items. Of course, you need to go online and start the application. You'll need to upload your resume as well as your statement of purpose. You'll need to upload your transcripts of all institutions that you have attended. At least one letter of recommendation from an academic source is required, and you are welcome to submit up to 3 letters of recommendation. Test scores. GMAT or GRE are optional for submission. We have a test optional admissions policy. That means it's not required for admission, but it can certainly help you in admission consideration as well as in scholarship funding. For international students, you'll additionally need to submit your IELTS or TOEFL scores. As you can see, we have a couple of rounds of deadlines for the application, and we recommend you submit your application as soon as you're able to submit the best version of your application possible. For more support, please schedule a personal consultation through our website or connect with one of our graduate student ambassadors. Best of luck to you. We can't wait to see you next year at UCR.